morning, y'all. It's Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm. Got a windy day here in Alabama. Some cooler temperatures and an emu that's trying to get my earring. I know better than wear earrings in here, but I don't plan on staying in here but just a second. So I'm gonna guard myself while I'm in here near you. And we're going to tell everybody that your friend, I guess he's your friend because you haven't ran him off, and I say him, could be a her. The coot is still in the pond. How are you allowing that to happen? I have seen Goldie and Nugget swimming already since it's become springtime. We've had some temperatures that were warm enough for both him and her to take a dip, and they've gotten out pretty deep already this year. We do have some work to do on the pond because we realize it's not holding water. But it is holding water enough to let the geese swim and allow the emus to take a dip when they want to cool off. Now, when I say he's allowing his friend, it's a coot, and it's still here. It's all the way across the pond over by the drain pipe. And crazy thing is, when we pulled up just a few minutes ago, we had to run some errands this morning. There was a big hawk, probably a red tail, if I had to guess, flying over right in the pine tree area back behind us. It flew up in that pine tree behind the dam. I'm not sure if it's still there or not, but my immediate thought was, oh no, he's after the coot. He's gonna get the coot. And Jason and Marycarl don't think that's possible because they do dive under the water. Unlike our geese, while they do dive under, they don't stay under like a coot can. So the crows that we have on our property did their job in running the hawk off, and I think the hawk has left its perch because of the crows. I pulled into the garage and came back out and did not see the hawk again. Can y'all see it over there? Not sure if y'all can see it very good, but he's over there on the far side of the pond just minding his own business. And I can tell y'all that I just saw, well, I can see it right now. It's a turtle that's come up for a breather. We know we've got turtles in the pond because when it gets a bit warm, they come up and they sun on the side of the dam. And I can see one's head poking up right now. So happy to know that we have crows because crows do a good job in warding off hawks. Now, I don't want any geese to hatch here, but I have a feeling that hawks were one thing that picked off the geese as they were born last year because some of them didn't quite make it, and the same went for some of the mallards. I think we ended up with 2 babies that grew to adulthood that were mallards, and it's simply because of either turtles or hawks. I know that we don't want a turtle that's taken over ponds, or turtles, I should say. You don't want your pond to be full of turtles because they'll harm your ecosystem. So we will keep a check on that and make sure we don't get too overrun with turtles. Got Mr. Nugget gonna come up here and join me again. You know I'm fixing to leave, don't you, buddy? Yeah, you know I'm fixing to leave you. I'm keeping a watch on you so you don't get my earrings. What you shaking your head for? Oh, I see, it's a little bug on your eyelash. Yeah, it's right there. All right, so I gotta go tell people a few more things about some birds, some strange happenings, or maybe not so strange happenings. So we had some of you asking us if we had seen any hummingbirds yet, and this week we've actually have hummingbirds, multiple hummingbirds. In the past few weeks, we've seen just a random hummingbird here and there, but they have officially arrived. I started out by putting just a couple of feeders out because I wanted to make sure I kept their feed fresh and it did not turn to liquor on them. So I have 2 feeders out, and I know the hummingbirds are here. These hummingbirds work well. Hummingbird feeders work well for us. We use an ant moat on the top that we fill with water to prevent the ants from from just getting on there and totally consuming the hummingbird nectar, and it seems to work well. Do you guys have hummingbirds yet where you are? If so, tell me where you are and if you've seen any. Now here we have the ruby throat hummingbird. We do have an occasional rufous hummingbird come through here, but that's something that usually makes the eBird as a rare bird spotting if it happens. And it usually happens when they're migrating through, which is in the springtime or fall when they're going back across the Gulf of Mexico. And here's the second one that I put out just so I could have two available, and I did not want to mix up too much nectar, not knowing if I had birds here or not. But now that I know that I have birds, I'm going to indeed fill up the rest of the feeders as the same kind as the one I showed you previously, and give those little birds a little dose of juice, energy, nectar that will keep them busy for their summertime needs. I'm headed over to the fruit orchard where I'm going to show you guys that some birds are nesting, but before we get there, I've got to brag on Jason for a minute about his roses. They are doing fantastic. If you remember, we put these posts up and we made the swag so the roses can indeed grow across this cable and make a beautiful addition to our side garden here. They are just covered in buds. I mean, you just would not believe how many buds are on here. They are covered. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful sight this summer when the roses do indeed get to the top of the post and hopefully start covering that swag a little bit. You can see this first one right here is actually already starting to grow a little bit. Jason's training it to do so, and it's going to go all the way around the perimeter of this side garden here. And the drift roses that we planted on this hillside back behind me that leads to the fruit orchard, oh my gracious, they have grown together. They are going to be spectacular this summer when they do bloom. Look at the buds on them. I mean, covered in buds. And they're going to put on quite a show. So Jason's out there right now. He's doing some pruning on his trees. I'm headed that way because I wanted to show you guys that we have birds nesting in most all of our houses. So this is the first bluebird house that we have right here. And I can see from standing where I am that there are materials in there. There have been birds that have built this nest this year. We've seen birds go in and out of that house. We're not concerned about bluebirds being here in the orchard because they do eat insects. They're not going to bother the fruit. And if they do, it'll be so minimal that it won't make any difference. He has his ear pods in, so he doesn't even know I'm here, but who are you talking to?
I'm talking to myself because I got dog mess all over me.
You got dog mess all over you. Yeah. So I am going along, Jason, and I'm showing how the birds have occupied some of the houses. Okay, cool. And your trees are looking beautiful. Thank you. They're looking fantastic. Now this house down here on the end, I have seen a pair of bluebirds in it as well. I'm not going to disturb them, but I want to show y'all. And I want to share with you how fast they did find these houses. I hear something. All right, y'all, I hope you can hear a little better. I turned my microphone off. I want the camera to pick it up. I'm not sure if you can see down in there or not, but there are babies in that house. And the parents are up here waiting to feed them. I did not expect them to be hatched yet. I don't know what we got going on the camera, but I have a feeling they think they're being fed. And y'all might have had a bird's eye view, literally. So I didn't touch the babies. The camera looked in there. I don't know what we got as far as footage, but I can still see the parents. They're sitting up on this power line waiting on me to walk away because they're taking good care of them. They're feeding them. And I am anxious to see these beautiful new fledglings flying around once they break out of their nest. We have an abundance of bluebirds here, and that's not a bad problem. Get a visual of it, but you see that power line? It's kind of a pole that goes right there. There's one of the parents sitting right there. waiting to go feed her babies. Now, I'm not sure if this house is occupied. I thought I might hear babies. I'm not for sure if that one's occupied. I told y'all wrong. I told you that bird that's sitting on that power line was a bluebird. That's a brown-headed cowbird. And you know what they do? They will go and they will lay their eggs in a nest that another bird has put their eggs, and they will allow the other bird to sit on them and hatch and take care of their young. So they're kind of lazy, if you want to ask me, and that's what they do. And that's what that is right there, a brown-headed cowbird. So we do a lot of things here to make sure the birds are happy and taken care of. And one of them is keeping bird feeders full. We have a bird feeder that has a camera on it right here that we got Marycarl for Christmas. It's solar powered, and we can indeed look at the app and see the birds feeding. We keep these feeders full at all times. Soon, there goes some right there. Soon as they're emptied out, we fill them right back up. And now we have some other feeding stations set up around back. And this is where our potager garden's gonna be. We are actively working on it. It's not quite finished, but it is a work in progress. And we have moved one of our pole stations that we had that was kind of out of sight to around here so we can get a better visual on our birds that are feeding. I just ran some birds off, but we have this pole set up here that has a lot of feeders on it, as well as a platform. And then that blue feeder, that's for jelly. We are hoping that we will attract Baltimore orioles, orchard orioles. There are other birds out there that like to eat jelly, and we're doing our part to try to keep them happy. And this is another pole system that we have right out the back door as well. And it has multiple feeders on it that we keep full because, well, we just enjoy watching them. So this is one that you have been asking about. And this is our purple martin house set up. Now, we put this up last year for the first time. And when I took them down, I looked in there and I saw eggs that had hatched. And I could not be for certain that all of those eggshells were from purple martins. There may have been a few bluebirds, and now that I think about it, there was probably a couple of brown-headed cowbirds. But we know for a fact that we have 2 nesting pair of purple martins this year. We have seen both of those pairs active, going in and out of the gorge, mainly at daylight and dusk. Jason sent me a picture of the first pair that he saw when they first arrived, and they've been here a couple of weeks. So what that means is their offspring will use this place, meaning Cog Hill Farm, for their future nesting spot. So that's how you build a colony. It may be that those 2 pair that chose to nest here this year lost their place that they had previously nested in, because they will come back to it year after year. You'll have those same birds. But if they lose the spot where they nest due to a tornado, or their gourds have rotted out, or whatever happened, then they will choose a new place. And I don't know if this is birds from last year or if this is a new set, but needless to say, we have enjoyed seeing them come and go. And as they grow, as their little family grows and develops, they'll choose this for their nesting site. And we may in the future end up adding a whole nother pole system if we see that we need to. This is a view that you don't see very often, but this is actually the back of our house. Got some raised beds there, carrots and cilantro and some snapdragons and garlic. And then you pan over and you can see the bird feeders on the pole right outside the bedroom window. So work in progress. We want this area to be completed at some point and beautiful, and it will be there one day. It's just a slow process. And then another thing that we haven't talked about is this area here is on the back side of the garage, and the birds can go inside the garage into a heated room, air conditioned room, and then they can come outside and experience the sunshine and be protected from any kind of predators. So that has indeed been a blessing for us to have on the back side of our house, and we haven't ever shown that, simply because Marycarl doesn't want to be on camera and those are her birds. So I'm showing it, and just don't expect to go into much detail about it because it is her thing. And I'm happy that the sod that Jason and his buddies were able to get laid out while I was under the weather is doing very well back here. So much so, it's gonna need to be cut before too long. We think we thought of everything when we built this fenced in area. We have a walk-through gate over here. We have a gate on the other side that will allow the tractor to come in through the back. And then we have the pretty wrought iron gates on the front side if we need to access it from there. But yeah, it's coming along. It's just gonna take a little bit. Now this space here is on the back of my mama's house, and we have something that we think we're gonna use there. We're not for certain yet. We kind of want to break up the pea gravel a little bit, but you can see that the sod that the fellows put out here is indeed beautiful, green, lush. The rain has helped. We will plant something climbing with the trellis to kind of hide the looks of our tank here. It's our propane tank that we use for our home, and we're just going to kind of incorporate that into the garden by hiding it without creating a hindrance to where the guy that fills it up can't get to it. You can see there's a big gate over there, so he can run his hose or back his truck through that gate and then come right through here and fill the propane tank up. And of course, we'll never hide it to where he can't get there. So our greenhouse is behind me, and standing in this pretty grass. We intend on getting the silky cottage incorporated in this somehow, and get that fixed up. But we've come leaps and bounds from what it was initially. It's just that we have to feed and take care of animals. We have to edit videos. We have to make videos and make content. And this is just kind of a little bit at a time. So there are things that have happened that you guys haven't seen back here, and it will continue to be that way. But one day we're going to be finished with it, and it's going to be beautiful. So the raised beds start on this side, and they go the length of the backyard, and they are going to be filled with vegetables that our family can enjoy, and just come right around to the backyard and pick them. The garlic looks fantastic, and it was very simple to build the raised beds. We burned the timbers with a torch so that we would not be leaching any chemicals. These are actually not creosote railroad ties. These are untreated, and we burned them. So Jason has a bed of snapdragons here, one of my favorite flowers, and then some cilantro that is trying to go to seed on us. Becomes coriander at that time. You can see the seed starting to form, and then there again, there's our bird feeders back there, and my security dog Bandit, and our Purple Martin house where the beautiful pair has resided. Two pair. And I cannot say enough about the progress that we've made on the grassy area in the front yard here. Mr. Greg brought us a load of topsoil. We were able to get those rocks covered up because if you guys have followed us for any length of time, you know that our soil is very rocky. But this is what the soil looks like, and this is one reason that grass will not cover it. So upon getting that topsoil, getting it spread out, putting grass seed and fertilizer out, dragging it with a harrow, and covering it with hay, it has started to take seed. But it is indeed sprouting, and we couldn't be more thrilled. It's exactly what we wanted to happen. So much so that I have another load of topsoil to cover those last few areas, just like what you saw that I just showed you. No grass is going to grow there without topsoil. And with that topsoil being added, we need to put grass seed on top of it. And then I have some of that old hay left, so we're gonna put it on there too to keep that seed from washing away and help it to incorporate. Oh my goodness, this is a pretty sight over here. We have a little bit of everything. I can't remember what Jason calls those Egyptian geese, but there's the pair. Now, he had angel wing when we got him, and that's why his wings look like that. He has been with us for a long time, but there was no correcting it at that point. Loretta's leaned up against the fence catching her a nap, but you can see the Seabright trio is still hanging around. That little bantam on the backside, she's not a Seabright, but the little rooster here, he's one of the originals. His little hen is right over here. The other hen's way back there by the peacocks. The 3 original Muscovies that came from Cog Hill Farm. Mr. Redneck here. A lot of you guys have said you don't see these animals very often, and that is simply because they live over here in an area where we want it to look better. And we're gonna make some improvements. It's gonna be slowly but surely. That green coop right there, we're gonna make some improvements with it and try to show it more, because we really shouldn't be so hard on ourselves about the way things look and what we're not happy with. But we simply, that's the truth. We aren't happy with the way it looks, and that's one reason we don't show it very often. Another something you don't see very often is this crew right here. The 2 black runner ducks, known as the men in black, and then the 2 fawn Indian runners. They're also males. So yeah, y'all don't see these ducks very often. I don't know why they won't go to the pond and stay put, but we're gonna try to make some changes with them and let them realize that the pond is a safe place and it's a wonderful place. I see Not Scott and Not Scott 2 over there having a tail off. Why? Oh goodness. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but they've both got their tails up and they're looking at each other. So I guess you could say this video was kind of about a lot of things that you don't get to see very often. Hummingbirds are back. The coot's still in the pond. We've got bluebirds nesting in the birdhouses. The purple martins are here. And then of course, the Seabright trio that you don't get to see, the men in black. Y'all, just kind of a nostalgic video for those of you that ask what happened to what. And there are other things that are not in vision right now, but just know that the Victoria Crown pigeons, they're still here and doing well. All Marycarl's pigeons are here, but it's just not easy for us to show it when she takes care of it. This is her side. This is what she does. So we really just focus on taking care of what we need to, and we don't film this area because we're not over here a lot. Doesn't mean they're not getting attention, because they are. It's just not our primary focus because she takes care of it. And one last thing, since she was walking by at the very last moment, I was fixing to end the video. Tucker is fine. Tucker hangs out with the boys. She goes in the garage at night and she is absolutely fine. I am about to hop on my tractor. I've got to get some forks off of it and go put my bucket on so I can spread some dirt around on this beautiful sunshiny day and get some work done. But I want y'all to let me know, have you seen hummingbirds wherever you are? And where are you located? And what kind of hummingbird do you have? That's very interesting to me to know that different areas have different hummingbirds, and they're all specific to that area, seems like. So update me with that information, and I hope we caught the baby birds on the camera. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's kind of for the birds, so to speak, but everybody's doing good here. Paris is continuing to improve. The little girls that got the babies are over the moon excited. Still hanging in there waiting on Tater, and we'll update y'all if something happens. But until next time, y'all be good.